tell you to get up and say, okay. All right, let's go. So we're in our crisscross position. If you're taking care of your hips, or maybe they're not feeling fabulous today, you could take a seat on a bolster. And we're closing our eyes, just coming to a seated posture. Checking in with our breath. You can have a nice, natural, easy breath today, relaxing the shoulders down. Let's focus on breathing in through the rib cage, feeling our rib cage expand out to the sides. And exhale, bringing it back to neutral. Flowing through that breathing, imagine the rib cage expanding and opening up like an umbrella. And exhale, relaxing. Continuing to move with this breath, our rib cage breath. As we're seated here today, imagine just for a moment that you're just a little bit thirsty. And you have a nice glass of fresh, cool water nearby. But we don't drink it just yet. Softening our jaws. Take a breath and now imagine yourself drinking it. Observe how your body feels when you take that refreshing drink. In your mind's eye, drink the water and note in detail how it feels in your mouth, your throat. Feel the water moving down into your belly and notice how it makes your whole body feel, every cell being nourished by the water. Take another drink. Take a few breaths here and experience just the amazement of water, the gift from the earth. Set an intention today for the rest of your week, that when you do have a real drink of water this week, you'll take time to experience the pleasure of drinking it, to feel grateful for the opportunity to be able to drink clean water whenever you're thirsty. Let's start with our warm-up. A seated cat and cow with our hands on our knees. Exhaling, tucking our tail, letting our chin go towards our chest, and then opening up in our hands, go down our legs, elbows go back around into cow seated. Exhaling cat. Creaking and cracking, inhaling cow. A few more of those. See, it's normal to creak and crack, even if you've done 4 yoga classes today, you still can creak and crack. Flow through this seated cat and cow, one vertebrae at a time. We can close our eyes and breathe. Last one. We'll come back to our neutral spine. Bring our hands to our knees again and take our right ear towards our right shoulder. Press our left hand down into the mat on the left side as that right ear goes towards our right shoulder. We'll bring our chin back to neutral and over to the other side. Maybe pressing, maybe not. It might not feel good. We'll bring that head back to neutral. A different variation of our seated circles today. Normally we're taking them forward with our chest. Today we're going to go back a little bit. Hands on our knees. We'll lean a little bit over to your left. Just lean over to your left, tuck the tail, start to roll back, and then over to the right. This is where the chest starts to lift. We open up the chest and come back. So we lean, tuck the tail, and then we move through here. So it's a different variation of our seated circles. You might feel your backside massaging one side and then the other. And we'll notice the pelvis turning under and then moving forward. Last one, and we'll go the other way. So we want to start at our neutral spine, tip over to your right, start to tuck under the tailbone, roll around, and then the chest starts to lift as you come up. Tip and tuck and roll. Seated circles. Great job. We'll meet at the top again with our neutral spine, lifting up through the pelvis, relaxing the shoulders, and our regular seated circles that we normally do in this practice. We'll turn towards our right knee with our chest, reach the chest towards your right knee, come around the front, and then all the way back up. So we're going this direction first, and it's a feeling of reaching, lengthening, reaching and coming up. With your breath, of course. Last one of this one, then we pause at the top, take a breath in. When the exhale starts, we begin to flow in the opposite direction. So exhale on the way down. As you start to come up, we inhale. Really stirring up the base of our spine, warming up our lower back today. In this one, our pelvis is mostly in the same direction. Our backside is anchoring down to the mat. Last one. We'll hold up at the top, take our chest towards our right knee again, and take a little lean forward, reaching our hands towards the mat on that side or towards the wall. Breathe. Reminding ourselves throughout our practice today to listen to our body and honor our body and where it may be on your journey. We'll walk our hands towards our body, tip over and go towards the other side, reaching long. Nice stretch now that we have warmed up. All right, we come up. And your favorite easy warm up for your hips without having to use your hands. Well, you might use your hands over. Flowing deer, side to side. You can have cup hands, takes a little bit of pressure off the wrists. Or if you want to come up, hands to hips, come up, shift, feet go over, knees go over, lift, side to side, or flowing deer. I don't know how you girls, if you're doing it at home, stick with it. I'm gonna go back to the deer. Let's hold over onto your left and bring your right hand to your left knee and your left hand back behind you for our deer pose, closing our eyes. Deers can represent gentleness and intuition. All right, let's bring it all the way over to the other side. Your left hand will go all the way over to your right knee. We'll feel the chest expand as we are warming up our hips today. Great job. Bring it back. Time to make our way into cat and cow on all fours. So you could do your fists for wrists, or if you have two blocks, excuse me, hands on our blocks, and we start to move through our cat and cow in that way. One vertebrae at a time again. Noticing our pelvis, tucking under and turning up. One or two more of these. Thinking of drawing energy up from the earth rather than pressing down into the earth through our hands or our wrists. Last one, child's pose. Take the hips towards the heels. You can have as much space as you like for your belly. Our forehead can be down on the mat or on 2 fists or 1. Breathe here. Let go of your day. Become fully present in your body and in your breath. And bring our kind and gentle awareness again tonight to our rib cage. And feel the breath as your rib cage expands out to the sides. Perhaps you lift up a little bit off your knees with that breath. And then relax. One more beautiful rib cage breath. And we'll flow through our half series a couple times, inhaling into that full. Maybe it's a kneeling plank for you, right down to your bellies or halfway. Opening up into our cobra, back down to our bellies, and we press the earth away and make our way to child's or down dog. And you can flow a few more times. Inhale forward, exhale, choose knees or full plank, cobra or up dog. Either back to your belly with me or right back to down dog. So we have 2 more flows like that. Or you can take this opportunity to rest in child's pose, hold a plank. Or maybe there's another vinyasa that you love, a flowing breath movement. You can add that in now. And when you're ready, we'll meet in child's pose. Feeling the space across our lower back, the space between our eyebrows resting. We're looking up between our hands. We'll be bringing our right foot up between the hands. So because we are going to be on this left knee for a minute, if you needed to, you roll up one side of your mat and put your knee there instead, because we'll be doing some flowing knee movement. So you just slide on one side of your mat in. All right, let's shift back, toes turn up, and then shift forward. Hip flexor goes towards the mat, forward and back. So if you have blocks, those are great for this one. Forward and back. We won't do too many, just to be kind to our knees. We'll meet with our knee under our hip and walking that right foot forward, turning the toes up. Wonderful. You can stay here, knee underneath hip. So we're not stretching our hip flexor here, we're stretching our hamstring, and then bring our nose towards our shin. Keeping a soft bend in that right knee, so we don't want to have any pressure on the knee to point in the opposite direction. Or we'll lift the chest back up and switch sides. So if you have your mat folded in to protect your knee, you fold in the other side so that it's under your right knee. We'll shift forward and then shift back, toes turn up, with or without your blocks. You can hold them and walk them back and forward, or you can keep them in one spot. Always close your eyes, add that little extra element of awareness to stay present. Last one, we bring the right hip just above the knee, walk the left foot forward, turn the toes up, and if it feels okay, bring our nose towards our shin. A big stretch, but always a bend in that front knee to protect it. This is actually called the half splits pose. We should try working towards splits next year. Next year, 2023. This is one of the prep ones for it. All right, bend that knee, bring it back to all fours, and push up into downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet, let some space between our hands and our feet. A modification for downward dog, all fours, or dolphin pose down on our forearms, or adding in any props that help empower your practice today. And that's one of the things to remember as well. It's your practice. Modified to suit your body. I'm just here to guide you. Let's look up between the hands and walk our feet up towards our hands to forward fold. Holding onto our elbows, letting the weight of our upper body pull down and relaxing our head, maybe rocking side to side, little ragdoll. So good. All right, release those hands, flowing through halfway lift or monkey pose, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Whatever feels nice for your hands, they can slide onto your shins or go back behind your knees. Or you can have them on blocks in front of you. Allow the back to lift you and the core to hold you steady. Last one. On our inhale, we'll be moving into chair pose, bending our knees, lifting up our hearts, choosing where we want those hands to be today. And forward fold. Chair to forward fold, our flow becomes now. So we start to make our way up. 4 or 5 more of those for yourself. We'll meet in chair pose. Take your time. Bring our hands by our sides. Reach them down, palms face the earth or face our hips. Then our palms face forward as we open our chest and hinge into airplane pose, hands back. Starting to flow through our airplane pose now, rising up, bringing our hands together, our thumbs together, and back into airplane. Flowing at your own pace now. Still warming up. Still connecting to our breath. Great job. One more. And we'll be holding it all the way up. Let's grab our elbows here and tip over towards our left side as we still press down into both of our feet. All the way over to the other side. These are palm tree arms. We'll bring it back. Reach our arms up. This is volcano arms. And the palms will come together. We'll bring them to our heart and step our left foot back, turning into our moonflowers. Breathe in, sweep up to the sky. Breathe out, bend our elbows and bend our knees. Again, connecting to the mat through the soles of the feet. I feel like that song kept repeating, sorry. One day, figure out technology. You can stay with that flow of your moonflowers or turn it into sunflowers. We still want to bend, but reach towards the earth. So if we are taking care of our knees, our pelvic floor, or our shoulders, we want to not go down so far. We're taking care of our knees, not bending them as much. You can keep your hands on your hips if you're healing your shoulders today. Last one. Amazing job, everybody. We'll step both of our feet back up to the tops of our mats and get ready for our sun salutations. Relax down through our shoulders. Blocks if you don't need them. If you're working on chaturanga, I'll show you really quickly one of the ways to add a prep chaturanga. So if you're nervous to do that chaturanga, you have a block there on your mat that you can use to stop yourself and kind of support yourself in the chaturanga and your up dog. So that's one thing you can use. I'll use it today, but maybe you can. All the way up. Find some space. Let's take a big breath up, reach the sun. Exhale, dive towards Mother Earth, softening the knees. Halfway up, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Let's bend our knees and take the left foot back. Knee up or down, choose your lunge. Inhale. We're going to add a twist today. Exhale. Right hand to right knee, left hand to floor. A little twist. Sorry, guys, I might have miscued that. And then we move back to child's pose or downward facing dog. You can stay here and rest, or we'll flow through. Inhale to a fuller kneeling plank, halfway into chaturanga, up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Looking up between our hands, and again, that right foot coming up between the hands. We'll take our left hand down to the mat, right hand to our knee, or reach up for a twist. Come back to our regular lunge, looking at our front foot and pushing off to forward fold. Halfway up, breathe in. Exhale, fold. All the way up, breathe in. Exhale to a nice strong chair. Feel your core connect. Back up we go. And we'll meet in mountain pose. And let's do that again. Inhale, reach to the sun. Exhale, dive to the earth. Halfway up, engage the core and then fold again. Bending our knees. Our right foot going back. Right hand down, left arm reaching up into our twist. We'll go back to our lunge first and then back to downward facing dog. We can stay here or start to flow through forward into plank, halfway or all the way down, up dog or cobra, back to down dog. We'll meet in down dog, take a breath. Looking between the hands, left foot coming up between the hands, right hand down, we reach up into our twisted lunge. Come back to a regular lunge and then push to forward fold. Halfway up, take a breath in, fold again, all the way up, pressing to both feet. Exhale to chair pose. Sweeping to sky again, meeting in mountain. So we have about 4 more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Halfway up, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bending our knees, left foot back, left hand down, right arm reaches up. To our regular lunge, we come back, chest faces the floor, and then downward facing dog or child's pose. Hold here or flow into your plank. Hold or flow. Great job. Meet back in downward dog. Maybe it's child's pose today, and take a breath. Heels release towards the floor. Right foot up between the hands, left hand down, sweep that right arm up for our twist, and then push all the way to forward fold. Halfway up, inhale, exhale, fold, all the way up. Feel the air on the arms, meet in chair pose, back up, we breathe in, exhale to mountain, and flowing again, sweeping to sun, diving towards the earth, halfway up, exhale, fold. This time the right foot back, right hand down, left arm reaches up, breathe in, exhale to down dog or child's pose. Hold, my friends, or flow, all on your own. Take your time. Whenever you get to down dog, just breathe. Or child's pose. Left foot up between the hands, right hand down, left arm reaches up. Exhale to forward fold, halfway up, fold, sweep all the way to sun. Exhale to chair pose, sweeping back up and meeting in mountain. Let's do 1 more, sweep up. Exhale, dives like a swan dive down. Halfway up, that spine becomes long and strong again. And then we fold. Right foot back, right hand down, left arm lifts up. Take it back to down dog or child's pose. Heels reach towards the mat. Stay here or flow through your half series. Feel the strength of your back. Meet in down dog or child's pose. Take a breath. Left hand up between the hands, right hand down. Inhale to our twist. Exhale, pushing the forward fold. Great job. Halfway up. Fold again. Sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale to mountain. There we go. Adjust your clothes if that feels good for you. Grab a drink of water. Would you mind if I turn the fan on now? Okay. So let's move on to a nice strong leg focused strength part of our practice. Remember, you can shorten your stance. You don't have to have your legs super far down your mat. We're being kind to our shoulders and wrists today. So not a lot of arms, but lots of legs. So our right foot's up at the top of our mat. Our left foot's going back and we're in that high lunge again. So you could have a shorter stance, smaller bend in your knee, or a big stand back heel high, left kneecap facing the floor, bending that right knee, lifting up our chest. Think of still having most of the weight dispersed between both of our feet today. Sound like I'm giving a workshop instead of a yoga class, sorry. Just want to be safe always. So instead of reaching up today, we're going to clasp our hands together or not, press into our leg, open up across our chest. So we're being nice to the shoulders, being nice to the wrists. If it doesn't feel nice with the hands together, they can be apart. Breathe. Feel how strong your ankle is. Notice your core come in to protect your spine. We'll bring our hands to our hips and bring our left foot in. If it is quite a ways back like mine is, bring it in. Heel goes down, our right knee still bending. We're in a short stance, warrior one. So that heel is most of the difference there, and the hips towards the short edge of our mat. And check in with our hips. And from our warrior one, moving into warrior two. So this is a fun way where you can really see how the hips are forward towards the front, and then they open up towards the long edge. I like to adjust my back foot a little bit. You can sink down a little further if you want to, or short stance. All right, warriors, you can have your hands here on your hips, or you can reach them out. Actively reaching through our fingertips, softening through our shoulders, and let's breathe. Feel the ribs expand a little bit. We'll bring our hands back to our hips. Our right toes facing the short edge of your mat. We'll turn it slightly towards the corner of the mat and hinge toward it. So now we're in a side lunge towards our right knee. Should feel a little different and good, hopefully. Now we get a chance to straighten out our leg. The right toes now turn fully towards the long edge of our mat. Our hands are still at our hips, and we go halfway down. Soften the knees. If this doesn't feel nice for you, you can have a shorter stance or be down on all fours instead. Hands can stay at our hips, or they can move to possible blocks underneath or down to the mat. You can stay there, or you can go back to where you were with a small bend in our knees, or we'll reach our hands for the backs of our ankles and draw our body closer towards the back edge of our mat. Letting our head now be heavy. Or using any of those other modifications to feel good. We'll come halfway back up. Turn the right toes towards the short edge of your mat again, or up towards me. We're straightening that right leg, walking our right hand to our right foot, and opening up our chest, but just placing our hand on our side body. Just like a triangle pose without using your arm. And then we turn our triangle pose into balancing half moon. Lift the back foot and either keep your hand on your side body, chest open, or arm up. And I promised you a great workout or a great activation of your legs. We'll be flowing between balancing half moon and our Shiva squat. Take now our right or left knee to our right calf. And then open back up, balancing half moon. Flowing between these two, so the hips open, and then the hips face the floor. It's a fun one. Takes a little bit to get used to. All right, forward fold. Right up towards your mat. Your legs should feel amazing. Halfway up, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Step or jump back to plank pose. Breathe. Push up to downward facing dog. Breathe and feel. Feel the earth beneath your hands, beneath your feet. Drawing energy up into our wrists. We can stay in our downward dog or move to dolphin if that feels better for our forearms or our shoulders. Wonderful. Walk our feet up back towards our hands. Halfway lift. Let's breathe in and fold. Breathe out. Sweep all the way up. Inhale. Exhale. Hands come to our sides. Let's do that leg sequence on the other side. Our left foot this time is at the top of our mat. Your right foot's going back and we start in our lunge position. Back heel is high, bending our left knee. Hands at our front leg, and we push into that leg to rise up through the heart. You can add that little bend of your back. Take your hands apart if it feels better. And then always encouraging you to close your eyes. Enjoy your version of this pose. Our hands will come to our hips and we'll take our back heel down now. So now we're in warrior one with our hips still facing that short edge of your mat, pressing into both of our feet. Sinking into our legs and noticing our hips. Feeling the belly button come towards the spine, expansion across the chest, the rib cage breathing. Turning our hips and our chest now towards the long edge of our mat. Maybe adjusting our back foot. As we find ourselves in our warrior two, and you can choose now if you'd like to reach your arms out if that feels nicer. But let go of what you usually set for expectations, maybe for your personal practice. Let it go, go with the flow. Hands will come to our hips. Now our left toes turn towards that more of the top corner. We're in our side lunge position with your left knee bending up towards me. Wonderful. Just a different activation of that leg. You'll notice it if we always do our warrior the same way with our foot. If we switch our foot to a side lunge, it's going to feel different. We'll straighten out our legs, turn our toes both towards the long edge, and now we get to hinge down, either stopping halfway in our wide leg forward fold or going right down onto blocks, or reaching for our ankles, using our biceps to pull our body closer to our legs. We'll release the hands from our ankles, come halfway back up. If you do have a block, you'll transfer it up to the top of your mat. Turn your left toes towards the short edge of your mat. And we're in our triangle pose with our right hand resting on our side. Instead of having to reach your arm up to the sky, you're thinking of opening your chest up towards the sky. Reaching your shoulder blade or your shoulder up towards the ceiling. Our core is holding us steady here. We're feeling a stretch down the front leg, the back of the front leg. You can stay or move into balancing half moon. The weight comes onto the front foot. We lift the back. But in order to make it a nice, safe way to get into a Shiva squat, we want to keep our hand on our side or bring our hand to our hip. And then we turn our hip towards the floor, touch our knee to the back of our calf, and then open back up into our balancing half moon. So we're bending our front knee and then straightening our front leg. A few more. Blocks are helpful. Sorry, I didn't pass those out beforehand. Last one, my friends. Forward fold. Built some amazing strength in our legs tonight. Halfway up, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Sweep it all the way up to the sky. Wonderful, and hands will come to our heart. So I'd like to show you tonight, I'll bring you a block if you don't have one, a flow that you can do for your legs without having to use your arms. Wonderful. Okay. Probably make you laugh a little bit. I haven't found a good way to say this about this block. So go somewhere between our knees. Personally, I like it like so. I find this a bit too wide, but like that. So find your preference. So yeah, actually your block is a great width. It's just a bit wider and that's a nice in between. So instead of giving birth to this block, okay, instead of shoving it forward and clenching your glutes, think of internally rotating to draw it back and kind of up. So it's, you can play around with it, see what it feels like, just squeeze it forward. And then the difference of that of drawing it back and up. So internally rotating our thighs instead of just clenching. All right, so that's where our activation comes in our legs for this little flow. If you want to, we'll lift up onto our toes, still internally rotating our thighs. Heels go down, check in again. And now we bend our knees, hinge into a chair, still try to internally rotate our legs. And then a forward fold, hold our elbows. And guess what? Still trying to internally rotate our thighs a little. All the way up. Let's sweep our arms to sky. So if you were taking care of your shoulders, we wouldn't do that sweep. Hands by our sides. Check in with your block again. Rotate it back and up. And then lift onto the toes. Down into our chair. Shifting our hips back. And then our fold. Grab your block, put it off to the side. Halfway lift, we'll breathe in. So now you know that feeling whenever someone or a yoga instructor says internally rotate your thighs. All right, so let's bend our knees, make our way back to all fours. Just a little flow through for our core, and then we'll be moving up to one more balance pose before we hit the mat for real. Let's come down onto our forearms. You can stay here or tuck the toes, lift up into dolphin. Looking back towards our toes and walking our toes towards our elbows. Breathe and feel and listen to the body. Let the head be heavy if possible. Press the earth away with your arms. creating some strength in our shoulder girdle. Let's drop our knees down and make our way back to downward dog so we can float up to downward dog. Hop, step, or jump our feet up between the hands. Take your time. Halfway up we go. Hold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep up into our tree pose, and then a quad stretch. Arms go out. We'll take our right foot out, turn the heel toward the body, and find your tree. The sole of our foot coming into the inside of our calf somewhere, and then choose your arms. If you're healing your shoulders, you might want to keep your hands at your heart or on your collarbones. Finding a place to focus our gaze, your drishti, which is a place to focus your gaze, but it's like you're looking right through it. Feel the core strong and steady. Notice the length in the neck. Let's bring our hands to heart. Bring our right knee in front. Lift our right knee. Reach for our right ankle with our right foot and bring that foot back for a quadricep stretch. The wall is very helpful for this pose. We have a little change tonight. Oh boy, besides my hair. You can stay with this or reach your left hand for your foot. Still keeping the knee underneath the hip. Big stretch for our quad. And then our right hand's going up. Just the transition can be challenging. That's okay, that's normal. Just breathe. Let's do the other side. Find our tree, maybe do some hip action. Need to get those salsa ladies back here doing some dancing. Okay, left foot out, heel towards the body. We'll come up, can reach long. Or choose a different variation of your arms. Cactus arms can be nice for your chest. So draw the shoulder blades together. Reach with your elbows in opposite directions and find some space between our fingers. Find your point of focus. Bring our hands to our heart. Draw the left knee around to the front. Lift it slightly. If it feels okay, reach down for the ankle. Take that knee under our hip. If there's a better way or something you're used to get into this, you can use momentum and kick your foot back. Or hold on to the back of your pants. Okay. So we can stay here in our quadricep stretch. So this is a version of dancer. Or reach back with your other hand. And then that left arm going up. All your muscle fibers working really hard to keep you steady. Good job, my friends. Release that foot. Forward fold again. Let the head hang and be heavy. Nodding our head yes to listening to our body. Shaking our head gently, no here, releasing tension in our neck. Releasing competition. Let's bend our knees, bring ourselves to a seated position. So you want to step one foot back, then the other. Sweep our feet around to the front. Time for our boats. So we've got some space. Find some space in our sit bones and then choose all kinds of different variations of boat that feel good for you. Feet down, wherever we are, the collarbones are proud, and we lean back just enough that your core catches you. Hands could be here, they could be on your knees. Feet could be down, one foot can be up, 2 feet can be up. If you're ready to transition or work towards that, place your block with your feet on it. Whatever height feels nice. Breathe. Widening our hearts, softening our jaws. We'll take a little rest. Reach our hands towards the front or the backs of our legs. Tuck our chin towards our chest, stretching our neck. And we come up, staff pose. Feet relatively close together, and we're engaging our muscle legs. We're engaging the legs of our the muscles of our legs. Oh no, my speech impediments coming back. Okay, engaging the quads, engaging the calves, the glutes, everything is strong. Our hands can be by our sides or on blocks, pressing down into the mat with either fists or full hands. So it might look to someone that's not practicing yoga that we're just sitting here, but we're actively strengthening our knees, our quads, our glutes, our core. And release. Let's take our right hand over to our left knee, finding some length in our back and reaching our left arm back. If you'd like to try, so this is a pretty gentle twist, which if you come back next Monday, we lots of twists for the day after Thanksgiving or Easter. Here, or bring the right foot or left foot to right hand, and we make our way into heron pose. It can be there, or our twisted staff pose. We'll release and do the other side, our left hand coming over towards the outside of our right knee, our toes still pointing up, right arm and reaching back. And if you would like to try heron, you'll take your right foot into your left hand, and reach back again. Great job. Wonderful twist. Bring it back. We'll be rolling back onto our back. So make sure that you have some space back there. We'll roll back and bring our arms to cactus arms. Bring our knees to 90 degrees and our arms to cactus arms. So our elbows somewhere around the same height as our shoulders, pressing into the backs of our hands, our elbows. Anchoring our lower back down into the mat. Breathe. Our knees are on top of our hips. Now bringing our hands by our sides, palms up or down. We'll do a few flows for our legs, straightening our legs here at the top. And then extending them down towards the mat only as far as you want to go. We feel the lower back lift, that's where you stop. Then bend the knees just back to 90. So don't let those knees come back towards the belly. Then we straighten out again. Extend and reach only as far as it feels good for your core. Bend the knees to 90 and then straighten the legs again. All on our own now. Extension and contraction. And then pointing those toes up. So one way to make it harder is to not let those knees come in front of your hip line, so they're always out. If you take a little break, then yes, bring those knees into chest and then extend. Last one, and we'll be moving into legs up a wall right after we add one little bridge in. Let's put the soles of the feet on the mat. So normally, actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to walk the feet out and lift up into our regular bridge, pressing into the feet, lifting up our hips. You can slide a block underneath your lower back. So for anyone that wants to add another layer onto this pose, we can lift one leg up. This is not something you'd want to do if you have any injuries to your knees or you're taking care of your pelvic floor. If you're working towards this pose, one way to get there is to put that foot on the top of your leg instead. And we'll switch sides, either holding our bridge or lifting up to sky or foot on the thigh. Almost using that front leg as a stepping stone to get to that next version of the pose. Slowly release. Knees come towards our belly. Take that delicious rock side to side. Legs up a wall, time. Oh boy, you can spend legs up the wall for Shavasana if you want to. So your legs can be up or knees bent. A bolster or block underneath your lower back can feel really nice here. Soften the shoulders, the jaw. Blissful, beautiful. A great mantra to take it out into your spring. So for anyone that does not care to stay in legs up a wall for our Shavasana, you can bend your knees and roll and lay flat on your backs, or knees bent, feet wider than hips, and the knees go back towards each other. If anyone would like an eye cover, you can raise your hand, I'll bring you one. Blanket, settle in, get comfortable. Feel the earth beneath our bodies tonight. The air on our skin, the air in our lungs. And allowing the whole front of our body to release down and relax into the back of our body. And the back of our body, releasing and relaxing safely down and towards the mat or the earth. Noticing the tops of our feet, relaxing, resting. The heels of the feet, where they connect to the mat. Our ankles. Noticing our shin bone and releasing the tension that surrounds it. Letting that shin bone melt down towards our calf. And like a popsicle melting in the sun, our calf muscle resting and relaxing. Noticing, without judgment, our kneecap, and feeling our knee rest and relax, releasing any tension that is surrounding our knees tonight. Moving into the large muscles at the top of our thigh or quadriceps. Releasing that tension there, letting your quadriceps Rest and relax down towards your hamstrings, the backs of your legs, and the backs of your legs melting and resting. Noticing our backside, our pelvis, letting our glutes rest and relax. The ball and socket area of our hip joints, releasing tension that might have built up there today. Our legs free and heavy, weighted and secure. Moving into our belly. Give your belly permission to be soft, supple, strong and relaxed. Melting down into our back and our back resting on the earth. Drawing our awareness to our chest, our heart, our lungs. Allowing the front of our chest to melt down towards our shoulder blades and our shoulder blades to anchor to the earth. Our neck, the back of our head, the top of our head, even our brain resting inside our skull, taking a break. Our eyes, nostrils, and jaw. Our quote to contemplate tonight by Gary Zukav. You are a dynamic being of light that at each moment informs the energy that flows through you. You do this with each thought, with each intention. Take your time to start to notice again the body, relax, the breath. We'll awaken and bring some movement back to our fingers and our toes, our ankles and our wrists. If it feels nice moving our head side to side, awakening our neck, we can stretch long from our fingertips to our toes. When you're ready, rolling over onto one side, and you take a little rest there on your bicep. And then up into an easy seated position. Wonderful. Let's inhale, fill yourself up with some light. Light, good thoughts towards yourself and others. We'll bring our hands to our heart. One more time, breathe in to every cell of your body. Feels okay, we can bow towards the earth today. Our gratefulness today for the water. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day and your next glass of water. Feel it.
Thanks, Denise.
Let me know how it feels. Thank you, Susie.
Thanks. That was good.
It was nice to see you today too. And
yes, nice to see you.
I'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you. It was awesome.
Bye, girls.